I think the one thing with religion is that you never know when enough is enough. So you're constantly on this treadmill running, and you just never know when you kind of arrive at that point where you've pleased God and you feel okay and everything. And that was kind of my journey most of my life. And with the result, a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And I could never get rid of the guilt and the shame that I lived with. And what happened was, about 5 years ago, I was invited to be on a show called Survivor. We shot it in the Maldives. It was beautiful. It was awesome. And about 2 weeks into the show, I did a challenge where I had to climb through these bamboo trees, and I'm quite big and quite heavy, and some of the other contestants, they nailed me. I didn't win that challenge, but we had to climb through these bamboo trees. And after the challenge, I looked at my hands and I had these two big blisters, but massive blisters on my hands. So the one paramedic came to me and he said, "Hykie, listen, okay, we're going to do something that we used to do in the army, and it's going to burn like hell. We're going to take a needle and push it into the blister, and we're going to take out all the fluid, and then we're going to shove methylated spirits and mercurochrome back in there to kill the blister and kill all the germs and stuff." So anyway, so they did it. It was excruciating sore because I sat with this pain, and I had these two red flippin' marks on my hands. I went to bed that night, and the next morning the blisters opened up and the fluid came out, and I sat with these two red marks. And I had a friend on Survivor, Bonnie. She was with me in the top 3 at the end, and she was very close to God, very close to God. And we always used to sit in the mornings. When we woke up, we used to sit on this huge big log looking at the sea, and I always used to ask her, "Tell me about Christ, tell me about the enemy," because I believed in God, but at that point it was a higher power, a greater good. All religions lead to the same source, and she said something to me. She said, I asked her, "Well, tell me something about the enemy, tell me something about Satan." And she said, "Well," and it's a line from a movie that says, "The greatest trick that the devil has ever pulled was to make people believe that he doesn't exist. Because if he doesn't exist, then who needs a God?" And she got up and she walked away, and it was quite strange what happened to me. I looked at my hands like this, and I grew up in a Christian home. I knew the Bible inside out. It wasn't as if I had no relationship or no understanding of who Jesus was. But I looked at my hands like this, and for a split second, it felt like hours, but for a split second I experienced the crucifixion. I didn't experience any pain, but I experienced myself with Jesus on the cross, being crucified, dying, and then raised to life with him. And for the first time, that journey, they say the longest journey of your life is the journey from your head to the heart, that penny dropped. And I realized that God doesn't look at Hykie, who Hykie is. He looks at himself within me. He looks at Jesus in me. He doesn't see Hykie. Hykie's gone. It's finished. He's crucified. He's dead. It's done. And that was the first time that I really experienced self-forgiveness, selfless, self-love. I experienced God's love. I experienced peace. And the guilt and the shame just kind of fell off me. And I experienced freedom for the first time. And I realized, obviously, that Christ, by faith, and the Lord is the all in all in all in all in all. And at that point, the wind didn't. It was just a fantastic, really awesome moment. I won Survivor, which was great, and I won $1 million. And if people say money doesn't make you happy, that's all rubbish. Because if you get $1 million in your bank account, go woohoo! That's really awesome. Okay. If money doesn't make you happy, give it to me. I can do wonderful things with it. But that was the time. Just after Survivor, I looked at the camera and I did an interview, and it was the first time that I said on TV, I said, "Jesus Christ is Lord." And that's when my life started changing, and that's when God started doing an operation within me. That's where he started working with me. And when I read Alan's book, I read my experience that I had on the island. And it was so wonderful to know that I don't have to reach out to God, that he's reaching out to me all the time. That nothing I do or don't do is going to make God love me more or less. Nothing. Doesn't matter what I do, that sin has been removed. And the reason I struggled with this concept of sin so much is because my father, he's a wonderful man and he loves the Lord. But his entire life he used to tell us that when you sin, the spirit leaves you. The spirit can't be associated with sin. And I always struggled with it. I thought, but geez, man, like every day when I look at a woman, or I think of flipping doing something stupid or having a cigarette, or, you know, that the Spirit of God isn't with me. And that it bothered me so much. I had so much guilt and remorse, and I had to keep on repenting, giving my heart to God. It was just never, ever enough. And for the first time, I understood that sin has been lifted. Christ took it for me. I'm not a sinner anymore. It has been removed, past, present, future, it's done. Of course I'm going to step into the mud. Of course I'm going to, because of my own brokenness, do stupid things, and, you know, but the Holy Spirit comes and convicts you, doesn't make you feel that guilt anymore, you know, and it was just an amazing feeling to understand that freedom, you know, it's not trying to live this godly, holy life, you know. I realized for the first time that spiritual people don't feel spiritual all the time. They don't. And I always seeked for God, never understood that God was seeking me. And today I live my life just in absolute freedom. I know that He loves me unconditionally. I still sometimes don't understand when I do stupid things, that He just keeps on loving me. And because of that, I keep on turning to Him. Because He's done that for me on the cross, because He saved my life and He's taken my sins from Him, I want to love Him. I want to serve Him. I want to be a good and faithful servant. So the book was it's just awesome. It almost had the same message as Joseph Prince's Unmerited Favor, where the idea of grace, we were never taught in the Afrikaans schools that there was a difference between grace and mercy, because Afrikaans has only got one word for it, called genade. And in church, when I was younger, jy moet net toch genade, die arme genade, you know, just be the least and give everything away. And just, you know, Christian people are just such, I almost felt like they were such flippin' losers. They can't live their lives, they can't have dreams, they can't have desires, they can't chase their goals, they can't, you know, you always just have to be at the mercy of this God, because, you know, you're so little. We are little, but, you know, so insignificant. And for the first time, I understand that Christianity is not that at all. It's not what I do or don't do. It's this relationship that I have with this loving Father, this dude that just walks this road with me every day, and journeys with me, and that He's not interested in these stupid perfections and imperfections that we have. And that Christianity is not this journey towards holiness, you know, where you kind of, a lot of people have this idea that, okay, you give your heart to the Lord and you just become better and better and better and holier and holier and holier, and one day you just go, it's not like that. I understand my brokenness, and sometimes I think I know less today than what I've ever known, ever before in my life. Yeah, today it feels like I know less than what I've ever known before. And what I often do today is I just go sit, I try and ask God nothing, and I wait for a little bit of inspiration, Him coming my way. There's two things that I believe today, is if I want things to change, I need to change. That's one of the philosophies that I live by. And the other one is, if I want something I've never had before, I'm going to have to do something I've never done before. And God gives me that ability to go out and create my future and really build in His kingdom. We have a responsibility today to allow this gift to work in us, but also to give the gifts to others. I believe God came and created heaven and earth, and our gift back to Him is to dream and create back and give back to Him. And it's awesome. And we all make mistakes, and that is okay. I always say that this too shall pass.